Hey, this is James Pelton. Happy Saturday to you all. We have an AMA today. Excited to talk with the team from Starlink Satellites. So I did a Twitter Spaces with them. It's been quite a while ago now, but excited to have them back on to kind of talk through the status of where things are at, kind of what's happened since launch, and just figure out if this is a place really I'm after. Is this a place I want to put my money? That's the questions that I'm after. Appreciate all you guys being here. Want to welcome Stuart to the community. Thanks for joining. Appreciate all you guys. Ian, D-Bird, Chance, Hassam. I appreciate all you guys being here each and every day. Jake says, amazing that Starlink had a bumpy launch and handled it so well. LMS working fantastic. Fantastically would be the right adverb. Sorry. Homeschool, I have to correct grammar when I see it. But yeah, excited to talk through just what's been going on. So do you want to go ahead and start by just introducing yourself and then we'll jump into it?
Yeah, of course. I just want to say thank you for having us, Mr. Pelton. I really appreciate us, you giving us the exposure to come on here and chat about what we have going on. But yeah, my name is Robert Morgan. I'm the co-founder of Starlink Satellites. And before I got into DeFi, I was in traditional finance and worked with a lot of institutional firms as a technical strategist. I got into DeFi about 2.5 years ago. I ran a smart contract audit company for about 1.5 years, and I've been working a lot with developers and recruiting software engineers over my time in DeFi. Worked with many projects with developing their code and security and transparency and safety, and there I am working with Starlink now.
Okay, very cool. Yeah, and then so I had the Twitter Spaces. So I think my audience is, semi. Maybe let's do just a quick elevator pitch of what Starlink Satellites is meant to be, and then we'll kind of jump into it more.
Yeah, just a quick elevator pitch of what we are as a passive ROI income project with a diversified treasury, right? A treasury has a model that diversifies into on and off chain investments and has a working liquidity management system with a price stabilizer that gives 250% over 200 days. So there's a lot. That's kind of a loaded elevator pitch. There's a lot to break down from there, but that's pretty much what we got in about 3 sentences.
Yes. Nope. That was a perfect elevator pitch. I think just to get across what you guys do. Okay. So do you want to talk about maybe what's going on since launch? So I think that's the big question everyone has is what happened and where
Yeah.
are we at now? You just want to talk through that a little bit?
Yeah, of course. So, right, we had an amazing private sale, amazing pre-sale, absolutely killed it. Our community's been fantastic. And we promised everyone for about 6 months we were going to launch on October 1st, right? Told everyone we were going to launch on October 1st. And we promised we were going to do the same launch style as Horde, right? Start around, like Horde launched about $10, $15, and it skyrocketed to $100, and that's where the price stabilized, right? So we promised our community the same. So we launched around, I think it was about 50, 60 cents. And it was going great. It was going fantastic. But a lot of people bought tokens too cheap and bought a lot of them too cheap because we had substantial liquidity in our pool so they could buy a good chunk. And when we got to about $11 or $12, we didn't get to $25 fast enough. We had someone dumped about 40,000 BUSD, collapsing the price. So our team, right, being in DeFi for such a long time, we took a step back. And we had many contingency plans because we realized so much can happen with a launch, right? There's so many external factors to watch out for. So when we saw the price collapse and that whale dump, we kind of sat back and we went, all right, let's pause trading for now because our number one goal was to protect our community. So we're like, all right, let's pause trading. We talked for about 12 to 24 hours. And then we came back to our community and we said, listen, if you bought on launch, you can get a refund. Either you can get your BUSD back that you bought in with, or you can get satellites at the pre-sale price for the BUSD you bought. And actually 90%, 95% of our community wanted those satellites and they wanted to stay in the project. Only about 2 or 3 people wanted their actual BUSD back. So we got amazing support. And then the people who already bought into the pre-sale and private sale just got their satellites refreshed. And then we resumed trading about 24 hours later, and we resumed trading at the liquidity management range at $25, and it's been working smoothly ever since. And we're ranging now between $23 and $27, and it's been going fantastic for a few days now.
Okay. Yeah. And Ian says, We had so many contingency plans. That in itself is great. Open and prepared to pivot with an agile approach. Very smart. And I don't hold to some people when there's like one problem in the project, they kind of just bail, they lose all hope. But I would rather see how the team responds to some controversy and do some pressure, and see if they're able to, kind of like Ian said, pivot. So I am glad to see that. Um, yeah, things went well after launch. Do you feel like the community's then pretty happy? Have you ran into people who are upset, or what do you kind of feel like the status of the community is?
Actually, I was talking with one of our devs, and we feel like it actually brought the community in closer because people realize that we're here for the long term, and that we really prioritized our community safeties first, right? We really wanted to protect our investors. That's what we focused on. And when people realized that, then everyone grew in tighter. Of course, you're gonna have some people who come in here and there who kind of say things that are not factual. They see what happened and they're like, oh, blah blah blah. It's like that's not what happened, right? So we just had to educate everyone, right? We had to educate the community. We had to educate by case basis. And really, we hadn't had any FUD or anyone being mad or upset. Everyone was super glad with how it was handled, and we did our best, and it worked out great. So we're super happy about that.
Okay. Yeah. And thanks for just being so upfront about it. I know a lot of people had questions for me. And again, I'm like, all I can do is bring the team on. I don't have people sometimes think I have like a lot of insider information, but I think
they think you got the inside scoop, huh?
Yeah. And I'm like, hey, I can bring on the team. And that's what I'm probably most useful for, is just to hear it from them. So I appreciate you doing that.
Of course, brother.
So then moving to Starlink itself. So one thing you say that you're inspired by fire before it crashed. And actually, I like the little rhyme on your Twitter. I noticed that. I'll bring that up here in a second. But do you want to talk about what you are going to be doing different than fire, where they kind of failed and you think that you'll be successful?
Yeah, so pretty much Fire just was giving out too large percentages over time, and they had too many tokens. It was a whole mess, right? They brought in a large chunk within the first month or two, right? Crazy amounts of volume, crazy amount of market price. The price rose exponentially with their Fire Nest and things of that nature. But what we did differently is we panned out, and we only give 1.25% a day over 200 days, so 250%, 200 days. And also because we have a range between $23 and $27, our price doesn't fluctuate from $1 to $900 or wherever Fire went. It was like a crazy 500x. So we really designed it more after Horde, since their model is more substantial. It's been, proven long term, right? But when we looked at Horde, the changes we wanted to make was make it more accessible to everyone, right? About 7 or 8 months ago when Horde launched, it was $1,000 for a plot, right? 7 to 8 months ago, that wasn't a lot of money to a lot of people because we were in a peak euphoria. ETH was 4,500. NFTs were taking off, right? $1,000 was nothing. Nowadays, 7 to 8 months later, $1 trillion has just wiped out the stock market today. We've seen the one that we're in a recession, a global recession. $1,000 is a lot to a lot of people. They don't have that surplus liquidity anymore. So we, as developers, we wanted to create something with a lower barrier of entry. So we decided to make our satellites, which is our version of a plot, $250. We would have liked to make it as cheap as possible, but on the back end and how the liquidity management system worked and how our satellites worked, 250 was the cheapest we could go. So that was how we kind of redesigned, and we're inspired by both of those models, but we just wanted to add our twists. And then, when we get into the Treasury and how we're a little bit different than Horde there as well. And then our code too is completely original. Our dev built the price stabilizer liquidity management system by himself. It's original. It's been audited 5 times now. So has our backend code. We tested it thoroughly over the past 4 to 5 months. Recreate a well-written suite of unit regression tests on the back end and ran through some rigorous tests, but it's been working out really well for us so far.
Okay. Yeah. No, thanks for that. And some people are saying we're hearing a little bit of crackling, so we can hear you fine, but there's like a little bit of crackling, and it just started. So I don't know if you need to plug in a cord more, but it's we can still hear you fine, so it's not a huge deal. But If you
Oh,
can, if you
am
see
I am I
something.
am I good now?
It's just like a tiny bit of crackling. People are just used to the great quality of audio on my, $50 microphone. So they, it's hard for them to hear something else, but I think it's probably okay.
I don't know where. Yeah, I'm trying to figure out where the crackling is coming from. I'm like, the StreamYard is rugging me right now. It's right.
Yeah,
My headphones. My
Sweetheart's rugging
headphones are
you.
rugging me.
Yeah, no, it's really not too bad. We can hear you fine. It'll be fine. It's actually a little bit soothing, the crackling. It's like white noise a little bit.
Okay,
Can you
that's
talk
good to know.
about revenue sources? So we've seen a lot of projects with
Mm-hmm.
these LMS. And
Mm-hmm.
again, if people aren't familiar with the liquidity managers are, it's just a way to keep your token price in a certain range. Okay. And that's what Hoard's been so successful for. But we've seen a bunch of LM liquidity manager projects that have failed. So like
Mm-hmm.
Aleph failed, and then Spring Game just kind of shut down. Do you want to talk about where the revenue's coming to keep that liquidity manager healthy?
Yeah. So right off the bat, right, when we made our liquidity management system, we realized that a lot of these projects, and in DeFi, a lot of projects, 99% of projects fail, right? Um, and we realized that we have to really leverage our connections on chain and off chain to maximize our treasury as a service, right? Treasury as a model. And what we realized was licensing out a liquidity management system is kind of a overly saturated market now. Everyone does it, right? There's a gazillion liquidity management system projects out there licensing their code out and all that stuff. And then, play to earn game, that's something that everyone has nowadays too, right? It's been really hot the past 2 years. NFTs as well, right? Those are all things we're going to provide as well. But what, I realized and some of the team realized too is that strictly on-chain investments never pan out over time. Really, if you even break it down to the larger players in this space, like 3AC for example, Suzu and Kyle Davies were probably the best arbitration traders of their time in 2008, 2007, when they were market makers working at traditional banks and traditional finance. And they had a successful hedge fund for a long, long time. And then when they slowly merged into fully on-chain investments, look what happened. They became insolvent rather quickly, right? Because there's just so much volatility. And I think the mixture between on and off chain and diversifying that treasury accordingly is absolutely crucial, right? So we have on chain, we have a trading bot, right? That would be arbitration bot for gold, forex, and crypto. Then we have our play to earn game. Then we have our NFTs, and then we have our liquidity management system we can license out. But then off chain, we have East Coast operators who have been in the restaurant business for 25 years, and they have great connections to sushi restaurants. So we will be looking to purchase a sushi restaurant for that stable ROI off chain and be able to feed the protocol with that, right? And we're looking for sushi restaurants too that have been around 20, 25 years. Great location, loyal clientele. And these are people who we've been operating with for years now in traditional finance. And I'd like to dive a little bit deeper into that. I don't want to keep ranting and run over your questions and be here forever, but there's a couple metrics we're looking at, right? We're buying existing operations with 25 to 30% APY. And when we buy, we're putting down as little as 10% down and seller financing the rest, sometimes at 0% rate, right? We've been doing this for some time now. So this means for 120K, we can hypothetically buy a $1.2 million location, right? This location can get us 20% to 25%, even with the seller finance payment. And that means our projection is to make over $250,000 on that 120K purchase annually, which is about over 4% a month. And then that alone is better than 90 to 95% of the trading bots out there, and also is much more stable and has a proven track record.
Okay. Yep. No, that's great. And actually, we fixed your mic, so I turned off echo cancellation, and that seems to have fixed it. So
Oh, look at that.
good. Look at that. Look at me. Technical support here on the back end.
Yeah.
No, that's great. So we have some questions from the audience. Actually, quite a bit. Yeah, and audience, if you have questions, bring them on. That would be great. Let's see. Do you want to talk about so Damien's concerned that sushi restaurants don't bring in the type of profit, to pay out these high percentages that you're getting in this project. Do you want to talk about that?
Yeah, the thing is with sushi restaurants, their profit margin is rather large when they have a lot of back house uh, employees such as chefs, right? They're in a great location. They have local clientele, and they've been around 20 to 25 years. And also, a key metric we're looking at as well is how they performed during COVID, right? That's a key metric you can now follow. If they did very well during COVID, then that's a great metric that's going to keep doing really, really well moving forward. But our East Coast operators, specifically Florida, New York, states of that nature, have been in this business now for about 20 to 25 years, and we trust them a lot.
Okay, nope. I think that's helpful. And then I can't pronounce this because I do not speak whatever language that is. But how long do you feel like this can last? Again, there's always concern. Is the liquidity manager
Mm-hmm.
going to run out? How long are you guys kind of predicting or projecting or aiming for?
you know it's we have to stay flexible, right? And like we said, even with launch, right, we have to pivot accordingly. And there's a lot of external factors that can affect this project directly, right? What's going on in Russia and Ukraine, the quantitative tightening that America is doing, and then the mass inflation worldwide. There's a lot of things that can affect your project. So the best thing we can do is we have a 1 year roadmap of what we're going to do in 1 year. That comes down to our NFTs will be out in 2 weeks. Our play to earn game will be out by the end of the month. We have restaurants in the pipeline that hopefully will be in contract in the next 60 to 90 days. That's a longer, more, it's in real life traditional business. You have to look at tax returns. You have to visit the location. You have to look at all the books, and it's a longer process than just sending someone crypto and you get the restaurant. It doesn't really work like that. Wish it did. But we have a pretty stacked 1 year roadmap. And once we start leveraging our in real life assets, then we can be substantial for some time, and that's what the restaurants really provide for us. And we have a lot more stuff like this that we can do, and our models have other components like packaging up portfolios and selling them to institutions down the road, which can really last for years.
Okay. And then, so we kind of talked about the restaurants. Let's go talk through your other revenue streams that you're considering. Do you want to talk a little bit more about the trading bots and are those proprietary or did you get them from somewhere?
So, dating back now for 2 years, when I first got into DeFi during the pandemic, and Uniswap version one, when there was only like 100 people in DeFi, trading bots were actually like non-existent until someone made a sniping bot. So someone made a sniping bot first, and everyone was like, "Wow, this is really cool." And this guy would snipe like 100 ETH off of every listing. He would make $6-7 million a month, and no one really knew who he was. Everyone just had his wallet address, so everyone just saw the number keep going up. And we've seen bots kind of, you know, evolve over time, kind of have its ebbs and flows. But now we're in a space where people have realized the kind of the happy medium with trading bots, because some of them have not worked at all in the past, but now they are with great companies like Crypto Hopper and Astrobit. We built our own trading bots since we have some developers that have been around bots for some time now, and we realized that the safest, least volatile type of trading bot is an arbitration bot. Arbitrate arbitration between prices, right, on exchanges, so such as crypto, gold, and forex, and that gives like 1%, 0.1% a day, but it's not that much, but it compounds over time and adds up, and it's relatively safe. So that's what I can speak on about the trading bot. But it is we want to keep it. We don't want to promise 20-30% a day, because that's just unrealistic. That's not substantial. It's about compounding every day with slow returns, and then those slow arbitration returns can be massive. That's what we see in institutional firms is arbitrations are huge, big money makers.
Absolutely. There's a lot of money to be made there. And then you mentioned the play to earn game. Do you want to talk through that? Again, those always make me excited, but do you want to talk about some of the details of that?
Yeah, I can shed a little light on it. I wish our developer was on. Maybe we could come back on later in the near future when our play to earn games around the corner. But really you'll be able to you'll be on teams, so you have your NFTs will be kind of like you'll be able to wager against another team within the Starlink, and if you win in the play to earn game, then your APY gets boosted, from 1.25% to like 1.5%, or your APY goes down to 1%. So really, you're kind of betting your gains a little bit. I wish I could go into more detail about that. We're still working it out, and we're still getting the graphics in the front end and the back end completed. And when that is finished, we will be able to share all the details with you. But I'm sure you guys will really love it and have a good time playing it. As play to earn game market is so huge now. Within the past 2 years, that market has exponentially killed it. I mean, it's a great source of revenue, and investors always love dabbling in that.
Yeah. Have you do you have predictions and projections for what kind of revenue that's going to bring in?
We do actually. We are creating a sheet of percentages of we are diversifying our portfolio percentage wise, and how much each is going to bring us in. We had someone in the community bring that idea to us about a few days ago. So we're putting together a spreadsheet to share with our community. So when that is finished, we will share that with all of you.
Okay, great. I love spreadsheets. Super helpful for me. And
Yeah.
Ian says James is a secret pro gamer, and no, but actually, before I went to YouTube, when I sold my business, I played a lot of Call of Duty Warzone, and I was like, what if I could become a professional Warzone streamer or something? But I'm not good enough. I think when you get older, your reactions go
Wow.
too low. So
That's cool.
yeah. And then do you want to talk about the NFT collection? You mentioned that is another revenue stream also.
Yeah, and I think our NFTs will be boosters for your APY. We have two collections coming out within the next week actually. So you get yourself an NFT and you'll be able to boost your APY. And that's dependent on the rarities you get in the trades, right? It'll be a typical collection that we've seen. But also we also have this other deal going on, James, that I will tell your community about firsthand. I'll give some alpha. Um, so right now we are Starlink Satellites is the first incubator project of Diamond DAO. Diamond DAO is an NFT collection on the Avalanche blockchain. So right now, um,
Oh no, did we lose you? Are you still there?
you'll get
You're kind of cutting in and out a little bit. I'll try turning echo
$4.
cancellation back on. Yeah, it's like oh, there you oh no, right when he said he had alpha. The rest of his team, yeah, didn't want us to see the alpha. So yeah, I'm curious to hear about how the incubator process was on here. I'm working on my own NFT collection, so I'm trying to figure out the best way to do that. The problem is I put about like 10 minutes into it a day. Here he is. Hey, you still there?
I'm here. Can you hear me?
Yes, yeah. You cut out for a minute, but now you're back. So hopefully it stays.
Okay, cool. Because I saw your screen go black, and I was like, oh no! I was like working in rugged again, and
Yeah.
then the whole thing just refreshed. So
It was the part right when you said I have alpha to share, and then you kind of went dark, and so I was like, oh no.
wait, really?
Yeah, it was right when you said you had alpha to share.
Well, look at that. So the alpha is this, guys. That hopefully I don't disappear after this, but the alpha is we have a promotion on right now with our Starlink is the first incubator project of Diamond DAO, which is an NFT collection on the Avalanche blockchain, which I'm sure you guys are all familiar with. So right now, if you guys go to diamonddao.art and you mint an Adman NFT, you'll get 50% off of a Starlink satellite, and you'll get a membership to the DAO, which has multiple whitelist allocations for future projects and things of that nature. And also, you get bonuses for the play to earn game coming up in the NFT booster collection. But most importantly, if you head there right now, you mint one NFT, It's $34. And then you go to starlinkfi.money galaxy swap and you buy 5 GSLS tokens. And then you send them to, this is in our Discord, but you send them to our multi-sig. Then we're able to give you a satellite for 50% off and you can start accumulating rewards. With that being said, that's a win-win because that's another revenue stream for the protocol is those NFTs from Diamond DAO, and also it gives you guys a chance to get cheap satellites if you missed out on the pre-sale. So we want to give the community that opportunity again to partake in some cheap satellites.
Okay, very cool. And how much are the admin NFTs?
They are 2 AVAX, which is about 34 USD.
Okay, so 2 AVAX, and then you can do that. Okay, very, very cool. And so you've got a lot of questions in the audience. If you missed some of what we've already talked about, the replay will be available right at the end of this. No, Starlink did not already rug. You can listen to the beginning where we talk about that. Is there a max number of NFTs?
No, there's no max. So one is a bronze, what we call a bronze node, and then 10 NFTs is a silver node, and then 50 is a gold node. And the more you have, the more boosters and privileges you will get when it comes to the DAO, the play to earn game, and the future NFT developments coming out.
Okay, very cool. Okay, so we've talked about restaurant business, and we've talked about the NFTs, the play to earn game, the trading bots. So we've got a bunch of revenue streams coming in there. Do you want to talk about the Liquidity Manager? And you mentioned that you were offering that to other people as well.
Yeah, so we build our liquidity management system in React Native. It's more of a reactive type of liquidity management system. It's been sitting really well between $23 and $27. Audited 5 times by CoinScope and by TechRate. We actually did have some projects reach out to us about licensing out our liquidity management system to them. But I think a lot of people, are it's kind of tough because it's such an overly saturated market. They just look for the cheapest ones. If you offer one offers one for 1,000, one offers one for 500, it's kind of tough. And it's a super competitive market when it comes to a price stabilizer of that nature. I can't really dive too deep into the details of the back end and the front end. I wish our developer was on, but next time we're on with you, we'll dive into the technical back ends and front ends of that for sure.
Sure. Yep. No problem at all. And I just found this calculator, which I think is pretty cool. So I just want to post it. And I love spreadsheets. I love calculators like this. But I posted a link to this. But this kind of shows you. Go ahead.
The ROI. We there. What's funny about this is we had a community member made this, and he posted it, and it was like the coolest thing.
Yeah, I love it. Even tells you
cool.
like what to do on each day, and super helpful for people who don't want to do their own spreadsheet. Something like this you could go do. And of course, the disclaimer, obviously, don't look at the spreadsheet and then you come in on day 50 and it's like, wait, it's not exactly how that's not how these spreadsheets are meant. That's actually one of the reasons I don't do spreadsheets as much is people would look at them and say, oh, okay, this is what it's going to be. And it's like, no. This is just a prediction of what might happen. So, but yeah, very cool. I put a link to that in there. Let's see. Okay, so we talked through all the different revenue streams. What is coming up on the roadmap that you are most excited about? Are you still there? Oh no, he got rugged again. I can tell that you're trying to talk, but we are not able to hear you. So maybe while we're waiting, Robert, you might have to hop out and then hop back in. But I'm going to post a link again to the website here. So they are launched. They have the Liquidity Manager on now. Rugged again. So yeah, we're getting rugged by everybody. Getting rugged by StreamYard here today. But here's the website. You can go. Galaxy Swap is how you can swap your BUSD. The Discord link I'll post here again. Here it is. And this is all on the website. So if you go check out the website, here's the link to the Galaxy swap. So they have their own swap. Let's see, I need to go back to BSC. But go to this website, the Galaxy Swap, go to BSC, connect your wallet. And if you have questions, feel free to hop into the Discord. I know they would be more than happy to answer any of your questions. Or, if you're still skeptical, I see some people in the audience are still skeptical. And I totally get that, being skeptical. If a project, launches and it doesn't work out, then, that the trust level does go down a little bit. And you want to keep an eye on how they were able to, go through that storm, weather that storm. So I would recommend, if you're having hesitancies, like Woohoo, is that your name? Woohoo. But yeah, definitely hop in the Discord and see if the community still believes in them. Because there's two things when you're looking at a project when they are trying to pivot. There's two things that you can look at. And here he is. Let's see if are you back there? Oh no.
Yeah, I can hear you.
Yeah, I hear you now. I hear you now. Yeah, you're yes,
All
I can
right.
hear you.
Oh my
It kind of builds anticipation and things like that. It's like when we hear you talk, it's like it brings excitement. But yeah, I was just saying to the audience that what you want to see in a project like this, when there's problems at the beginning, is the two things I look for is the team able to pivot, and also is the audience willing to follow the team in a pivot. So those are the two things you really want to find out from the community. Is okay, they pivoted and we're seeing that pivot, but does the audience want to follow them in that? So yeah, and Funny Toro, he says, when did they fail the first time around? So again, we kind of talked about that at the beginning. So if you missed that talk, the replay of this will be available. You can go back and listen to that. But basically, launched on the first, and they started with a low token price. So the target token price was going to be between 23 and 25 or something like that. They started low and hoped it would kind of organically work its way up there. But just with market conditions the way that they are, it kind of just stayed down here. So then they kind of shut everything down, refunded people who wanted to be refunded, and then redid the launch starting at that 25. So Jake says, they literally paid out investors after bumpy launch that wanted out. They built trust for me, 40 days ROI, worth the risk for me personally, but DYOR. So, yeah, and I would agree with that. Do you want to maybe talk about how risky do you consider a project like this to be? Maybe like, compared to, maybe I'll just leave that as an open-ended question. What are the risks that you think there are for investors, and how risky do you think it is?
For me personally, I've realized that DeFi is an experimental space, right? There's a lot of people creating their own thing, right? But based off the fact that we built this off of already a built, substantial model, that's something that's already long-term proven, right? We already got through the bumpy roads. When it comes to building a project, the toughest thing is always the beginning, right? Once you get through the building of the tech and the audits and security and building the back end, and then getting the pre-sale, getting the liquidity raised, and then going to launch. The launch is always the toughest thing because you never know what's going to happen. There's so many things that can happen with the launch, right? I mean, we had like $200,000 of volume within the first 12 hours that we launched that one time. The price was up. The price was up like 30, 40x, and someone had to ruin all the fun for all of us and dump about 40,000 BUSD, and so that's when we kind of that's kind of when we paused it, pushed it back. But I would say it's not as risky, right? The sooner you get into a project, the greater the risk is, the greater the return. But the later you get into a project, the less risk, but kind of the lesser the return. But not really here, because you can still get 250%, 200 days with our liquidity management system. Still really doing well between that $23 to $27 range.
Yeah, and I mention that all the time. I mention that all the time, that the risk goes way up if you're getting in pre-launch, because like you
right
said,
now, business structured because rights to.
Still there?
Mm-hmm.
Also, we have Deck
Can you
here.
hear me?
Is Deck? Are you
Yeah,
part of the Starlink team? Yes, I can hear you.
Yeah, Deck happens to be the head developer.
Deck,
Deck, are you there?
welcome. Glad that you could join us here.
Hey, how you doing? Yes, was sorry, just couldn't make it on time because was busy taking care of some other stuff and was also building the NFT out too. So we just a little quick announcement that we about to have like our NFT collection should be released sometime either tomorrow or on Monday.
Okay. All right. We'll be looking forward to that for sure. But yeah, I was just saying that I say that all the time that your risk goes way, way down if you wait till after launch to get in. Cause like you said, so many things can go weird at launch. And that's why there's a big bonus for the pre-sale people, right? Is because, hey, you're taking on a significant more risk. One of the reasons people like Starlink opposed to Horde, some people feel like they're too late to get into Horde. And so wanting to get in early into something like this is a benefit. But like you said, there's always that risk reward ratio that the later you get in, the lower the risk, but you don't get quite as much reward as well. So, Deck, are you able to talk at all about the play to earn game?
Yes. So we actually also in the progress of developing our play to earn game, which will be a simulation to earn with Star Wars theme, and the way how we structures the play to earn game is basically with our NFT booster collection, which is coming in 1 or 2 days. Those will act as characters, or as a profile or any kind of skin for your play to earns, for holder to participate in the play to earn games. And the whole game will be split into the 10K collection of the NFT will be split into 4 different factions, and on a weekly tournament will be hosting. There will be some weekly prize, and there will be there will be a winning faction that will earn extra yield on top of the 1.25%. And by means of the winning faction, there will be also a losing faction that will be losing out or giving up from their 1.25% and giving those to the winning faction. So there will be extra yield, there will be extra boosting, and there will be extra utility for the GSLS token on top of just a regular 1.25% yield for anyone who wants to participate in the play to earn games.
Okay, well, we look forward to that. And when do you think launch on that is?
We are testing on the front end right now. So just see, today is October 8th. We expect about like at least another 3 weeks of development. So maybe about 1 month left before we start having a real official announcement for the play to earn game to be released. So either end of October or early November. So definitely early November will be our deadline to have the play to earn games out, because on our roadmap, the play to earn game will be a very a big cornerstone that will make such a big difference for the way how people will take a look at Starlink as general in the protocol, and also set us apart from being a Horde inspired project and whatever. The whole thing will be like, will make so much sense that people will just like, oh, okay, like this is what we doing with like the play to earn game that contribute to the whole tokenomic of the protocol.
Okay. All right. Very cool. And this is a question I like to ask because it just gives me an idea of what's in the vision. But let's say everything goes well and the LM's working really well. You guys are, getting investors and the revenue streams are coming in. Where do you see everything in like a year? Where would you think you'll be?
So this can be left for RM, but I also want to say that 1 year in crypto is really a long time, right? It's just my opinion. 1 year in a crypto is very long time. So the way how we look at the way how I look at Starlink, it basically a startup. Everybody will start off like building. We are at the phase of bootstrapping liquidity, raising funding, all of those. Everybody will whatever investor or whatever people outside say, we are Ponzinomics, anything that people saying about us. I'm pretty sure everything, all the opinion can be changed within a month or two, and that the way how we structure Starlink at this point is that we'll be in a position where we can adapt to any environment in the market moving forward, either bear market wise or bull market wise. And as soon as we feel like that, if we bootstrap enough liquidity, we raise enough funding, or if at a certain point where the market say, hey, you need to pivot, you need to adapt to to a new market environment at the time where our startup just need to take a different step, or maybe move away from the structure where we are at right now. We are in the we just want to say we're in a position to be able to adapt to any of those. That's what I see, that maybe even 1 year from now we are in a totally different model, that as long as our investor is being in the protocol, we are very confident that we can provide that such a groundbreaking protocol for anybody to look into investing.
Yeah, absolutely. I think I like what you said. Yeah, a year is in crypto is like 100 years in normal life. So totally get that. Someone from the audience, Armat, says, "Where do you see yourself in 3 months?" Maybe would be a easier question to answer.
Yeah. So for 3 months, the way how I see it is, we seeing ourselves having the play to earn games out, the whole ecosystem being out, or everything already being measured and already kind of calculated in a big pictures of the way how the GSLS will be utilized as a whole. So rather than just relying on new investor to coming in and and paying back all the initial investor, we are aiming for as you all can see, we are aiming for like a lot of different on-chain and off-chain investment. I think we already kind of repeating those RM already, pitching about all of those. But then end of the day, it's also will be just maybe in 3 months from now, everything proven to be good, everything just stable price, all of those, we have enough liquidity, we moving fund along with the roadmap. Or maybe even 3 months from now, everything just maybe not working as it's planned to. But at the point where we feel like we need to adapt, we still want to make an adjustment, and we let our investor to be our number one priority before consider anything else for the protocol, right? And that's what I see our projects developing in 3 months from now, because anything can happen in 3 months, right? Like a bull market, bear market wise, anything can happen in 3 months. You never know what's going to happen in 3 months. And at the end of the day, what I see as 3 months from now or even a year from now is that our investor will always be our number one priority, and our community. You see how any meme coin without any utility still can move so hard with just a hardcore community. We see that you see that chance, you see that what happened in the bull market for any of those projects. So we always, just end of the day, we always put our community the number one first before considering making any moves or doing any decision regarding the protocol investment or the protocol health or any of the protocol future.
Okay. All right. Very cool. Does anybody else from the audience have any questions that they would like to ask? I want to make sure I get those answered. Just feel free to ask. And while we're waiting to see anything from them, do you guys want to talk about what's the best way for investors to get involved right now? Do you recommend they go mint one of the NFTs and then get in, or what's the best way for people to get in right now?
All right. Just his Well, I think he's maybe he
You're having
just
some mic issues.
it's a mic issue. No worry. So I can go ahead. I'm not a sales guy, but I can definitely go ahead on pitching on what's going on in our protocol right now. So we have a partnership with Diamond Man DAO, which is our ongoing. We actually just an incubated project from Diamond Man DAO, and so what everybody can participate right now is basically let's say your mint um, one DDAO NFT, which is running at 2 AVAX right now for an NFT. That would be about 30, 35, 36. Yeah, about $36 for DDAO NFT, and then you can buy the GSLS token. So regularly it's running for 10 GSLS for satellite, but as long as you mint one
Can you guys hear
Diamond
me
DAO
now?
NFT. Oh yeah, RM, yeah, I can hear you.
Can you
Yeah,
guys
I'm finishing up. Yeah, I'm finishing up
Okay,
on
cool.
letting our new investor know if they want to participate, they can buy one Diamond DAO NFT for $36, and then you get basically get one satellite half off, which is $125 off on the $250. So basically you basically only pay about $160 for a $250 satellite value. So that could be the best way for everybody to participate in Starlinks right now is mint one NFT and let's see, mint one NFT for $35, buy 5 GSOS token for $125, and then you can send those 5 GSOS to our multi-sig, and we will have our smart contract taking a look at comparing your wallet on Avalanche, scanning that, and then measuring like if you're sending any token to our multi-sig, and then we'll basically create a satellite and airdrop to you guys straight to your wallet.
Okay, so you want to mint, and by the way, when you go to the website, after about 10 seconds, some music starts, and it freaks me out every time. So be careful on the Diamond DAO art page. I have to like quick close everything because it's this loud music. But so you go mint NFT here, and then you said go buy 5 tokens here on the Galaxy Swap, and then you can submit the Galaxy tokens to your wallet, multi-sig wallet, and you'd find that in Discord. Is that the best place to look for all that?
Yes, so everything will be in Discord, and as soon as you hit into the Discord group, you will be able to find what our multi-sig wallet is. You send the multi-sig wallet, and then daily we will basically scan those scan the wallet, and then our smart contract just do some quick math along with like how much NFT you're minting, like how many GSLS token you're sending to the multi-sig, and then from there you just get airdrop a satellite straight into your wallet without doing anything else.
Okay, all right, yeah, that makes a lot of sense. And if you have more questions about the process, yeah, feel free to ask in Discord. Someone's asking me to try it live, but I do not trust my Trezor to work live, so I'm working on moving over to a Ledger because I think it works a lot better. A couple questions from the audience, maybe as we kind of wrap up here, but how long is the team? Is there anyone that's KYC or docs on the team?
So everybody on the team is basically internal doxing to each other, and we also having KYC with Coinscope for anybody who's doing the multi-sig. So our multi-sig is basically a 3-person multi-sigs. So so that basically explained for your question, I guess.
Yes, hope that was great. And then do you know what will be the first investment that you guys do with the Treasury? Will the community get a vote on that? And was there any money lost on the first launch?
So for the first investment, I think we'll be spreading some funding into the trading bots, and before we're making any of those investment decisions, basically our team will be, I'm the just developer, you know, so our team will basically decide on you know what the amount will be and where is this going to, and so that, you know, our community will at least get to know you know, where the money is going to, and maybe they can get to vote if, you know, if we are deciding between, you know, a couple of options that, you know, can kind of, you know, basically for us consider it to be kind of equal opportunities, so that maybe our community can get a vote on that. And two is any money lost on failed launch. Yeah, the launch actually, yeah, was kind of like interrupted by a few people who trying to game the system. So yeah, we lost quite a little bit, not a whole lot, but we lost a little bit in order to refund all our investors. But thanks God, some of the investor decide to go with the pre-sale satellite instead of getting the full refund in stables. So we still, in the sense, being able to bootstrap some liquidity and moving forward. So at the end of the day, it was a very minor loss. I would say about like $5,000 at most.
Okay. And then Ashif would like to know, following up on that, is the private round sustainable at 75% off, earning 5% a day? What's the incentive for people to buy at full price? And then do you know the runway with the revenue streams that you guys have in place or will have in place soon?
Yeah. So basically, even right now, you're getting a pretty good deal to get a satellite, right? Because you know, with the NFT and the Starlink token, you're getting you basically paying about $170 for $250 satellites. So right now our runway with revenue stream, like without any of the new people coming in, will be, I will be taking a look at about like 40 days. And as soon as right now is 40 days without any, you know, considerable income stream, right? And as soon as we have our treasury working toward trading bot, you know, getting some money in, out, here and there, and there will be people compounding, there will be, you know, different there will be different plan for our private investor, basically, because we actually having, like, you know, our own group chat with our private investor too, in a sense, in order to protect the protocol health in the long run, right? Because end of the day, we don't want to overpromise anything that, you know, maybe like no one will be able to you know, seeing us that, you know, like, oh, we don't want to get in right now because a lot of people are getting in at, you know, 75% off. So we always having communication with our private sale investors, so that we can ensure the longest runway and, you know, the best sustainable, you know, protocol in the future, like at least for this year of 2022 and the year of 2023, basically.
Okay. No, I think that was very helpful. And a lot of people from your community on here, and they're saying, you know, how you guys handled that puts trust going forward. So that's good to hear. Funny Turo had a good question. So again, as we're seeing some of these liquidity managers kind of run out, I think people are wanting like a lot of transparency into the liquidity manager. Do you have any plans for ways that people can check the health of the liquidity manager, like a Dune dashboard or something like that?
Yeah, there shouldn't be any problem having that dashboard coming in, but I would definitely look into developing those. It shouldn't take longer than a couple of days, right? But the way how our liquidity manager working is, basically we are moving fund in and out of it like all the time. So sometimes you know, the LM doesn't really reflect how much the money in there, because we having the multi-sig feeding the LM, and also different various, you know, wallet feeding in the LM too. So it's a little bit more complicated, because sometimes you can see the LM sitting at, like, you know, 10K, 20K, and then the next hour it can be sitting at like 60K, and then the next hour after that can push back into 30K, all those kind of things. So the PS doesn't really you know, accurately reflect the correct amount of what reserve we have, but we can definitely, you know, do like maybe a weekly rundown of like, you know, how much of an actual reserve we are having, or like every week we just say, hey guys, at this point, if anybody, let's say if anybody's selling, like the whole protocol selling, how many run days we have. You know, that's maybe can provide you guys more transparency in a sense, rather than just give you guys some, you know, dumb value of the liquidity management that doesn't really reflect the runway of the protocol. I will talk to the teams and see if there any communication. There's a way to communicate the actual runway of the of Starlink protocol in the days, like how many days left, if everybody is dumping the GSLS token, right?
Okay, no, I think that's super helpful, and I think people would appreciate that because without the liquidity manager, you can kind of tell when things are not going well, you know, because the token price is going down very low. So with the liquidity manager, it's a little bit harder to tell, and so some of these protocols have kind of just disappeared out of nowhere, you know, and so I think transparency into that will make investors feel a lot better and feel a lot safer. So I think that's a good recommendation. Thank you, Toro. So I think we'll go ahead and wrap there. Keep it under an hour. So first off, Deck and Robert, I know Robert, his mic stopped working and he couldn't be here, but I appreciate you guys coming on and just talking through everything and being transparent about the problems, the good and the bad. So I appreciate you guys coming on and talking through everything.
Yeah, thank you all so much. As I literally just got here like 10
Yeah.
15 minutes ago. I was so late, and then, you know, I coming in and just very grateful to be here and appreciate all the questions you're having for us. You have any other question, or you just want to hang out in the Discord, just join the Discord. You know, we have like quite a bit of the lively community going on over there, and, you know, everybody's just helping each other, and, you know, even throughout the launch, even through the hiccups, we are still, you know, our community is still backing us very strongly, so that we feel like we're building such a good and strong and healthy community for Starlink, that we can being able to endure any, you know, any threat or any, you know, hardship moving forward. So very grateful to be here, and thanks for the opportunity to talk on the AMA or on your YouTube channel, I guess. And yeah.
Yeah, and it worked out really well. Like Robert was kind of able to hand things over to you because his mic was working great. Then all of a sudden it just stopped working, but it was right when you were hopping on. So it actually worked out perfectly. So yeah, I think you did great. So thank you for hopping on and answering people's questions. And thank you to the audience also. I almost forgot, but I cannot forget. Thank you guys for showing up, watching, interacting. I appreciate all the great questions. Yeah, if you do have more questions, I see there's some good discussions going on. So yeah, feel free to bring those over to Discord, or if you're part of my community, bring them into our Telegram group and we can talk through it more. So appreciate you guys, audience, and thank you, Starlink team. I will be back tomorrow. I usually take Sundays off, but I do have an AMA tomorrow, so I will talk to you then. But yeah, I appreciate everybody and hope you all have a great rest of your day. Thanks, everyone.